Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you guys are ready for a great show. It's really one of these cases that I've been meaning to cover for a long time, and I decided to cover it now because this guy that we're going to talk about, Mr. Stephen McDaniel, reminds me so much of the Idaho guy, Brian Koberger. They're just very similar. They're both studying law stuff. I feel like they're trying to get away with something by the choices of school that, they're what they're studying and things like that. Have you guys ever heard of this case? Curious. Anybody hear of Stephen McDaniel? It happened in 2011 in Macon, Georgia. And when this was happening in Macon, which is not too far from where I'm in North Georgia, so it's about 3 or so hours from here, but it was on our local news. The local news that I get where I live is like the Atlanta local news. So I was hearing about it when it was happening, and I was really following it closely because at the time my husband was in Afghanistan and I was here alone. So of course I like to dive into true crime stuff when I'm just hanging out in a house by myself. Oh, anyway. So Stephen McDaniel, let's get right into it. Actually, let's say hi to you guys first. Jess, nice to see you. Conspiracy Pilled is here, and I also see Abby here, so I'm assuming Conspiracy Pilled is PJ. So hey, PJ. Waffle Salter, got it right. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Number 2 is here, and so is Yo Mama. Yo Mama is in the house. Thanks for coming, everybody. So, Macon, Georgia. Have you guys been to Macon? I have. I used to manage a shopping center in Macon, so I would go down there all the time. Here we are. So I live up in this area over here in North Georgia. We'll widen that out. From like here up, somewhere in there. And Macon's right down here in the middle of the state. So in Macon, there is a college called Mercer University. And Mercer University has a section of their college. So Mercer University is over here, but the law school is here. So Mercer University School of Law. This is where we're at today. So both the people involved in this case went to this law school, Stephen McDaniel and Lauren Giddings. I should probably pull up my notes before you guys weren't supposed to see that. That popped up on the wrong screen. So Stephen McDaniel was 25 years old. Lauren Giddings was 27 years old, and they both had just graduated from Mercer Law School. Mercer had their graduation in May, and this thing happened at the end of June. So they had just graduated law school. They were both studying to do their bar exam, which is a big deal. We all know Kim Kardashian's studying to pass her bar exam right now. So she didn't go to law school or anything. I think she thinks they're just going to give it to her. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens with that. So they are both studying. There's 2 different ways to study through this school. There's 2 different ways to study for the bar exam. There's an online course, and then there's a course where you go every morning. Like it gets done at like noon. So it's like from 8 a.m. to noon or something like that. And Lauren was doing hers online. Her bar prep she was doing online, and Stephen was doing his at the school where he would go for these lectures. They both lived in this apartment complex right here. So they lived here in Barrister's Hall. Let's get the street view going on. Gotta love the maps. And so this is the law school here. And this is their apartment complex here. Slide over here a little bit so you can see it a little better. This was Stephen's apartment, and the one right over here was Lauren's apartment. So we know where we're at, Barrister Hall. There's some trash cans right here that I just want you will remember that for later. They got trash cans right there. That'll come up later, I promise. So, they meet in law school. Shortly after Stephen met Lauren, he asked her out. He was very interested in her, and she declined because she had a boyfriend. I'm thinking she probably declined for other reasons as well because he was kind of creepy. He was the type of guy who was like planning for the zombie apocalypse, and he had swords at his apartment. We all know people who own swords. Kind of a strange cat. I know you saw in the, do I even have a, I don't think I have all video clips. I don't have a picture of him. He was in the thumbnail. So he's got this troll hair going on. Very interesting character. So she turned him down. Don't really want to date you. She's got a boyfriend already. They're dating long distance while she's in law school. And so she ends up becoming the president of, did I not write down the name of the club? Some club on campus. And the Federalist Club or the Federalist Foundation, something like that. So she's the president of this club. So he volunteers to be the vice president. So he's just trying to put himself next to her as much as possible. It's true. Why do so many murders look like trolls? Doesn't that guy look very much like a troll? Looks very, very much like a troll. So Stephen would Google her all the time. And these things are things we found out afterwards, after we looked at his computer and saw what he was up to on there. So he would Google her all the time, like a lot. Not like, you meet somebody, you're like, oh, I think I'll Google them to see, every now and again, you Google people. I Google people. You all have probably Googled me. It's all right. Once in a while. He Googled her like every day. So very creepy. He also, on his Google search, is how long it takes to choke someone unconscious. Like right after he Googled her, he Googled how long does it take to choke somebody unconscious. He took photos and videos of her coming and going. Like I said, his apartment is this one here, and hers is this one here. She's in apartment number 2, and he's in apartment number 4. So I'm assuming this is 1 and 3 on the first floor, but they were upstairs. He also videotaped himself breaking into her apartment, which was weird. Why would you, if you're going to commit crimes, this is not a How to Get Away with Crimes channel, but if you're going to break in somewhere, don't Google or don't videotape yourself doing it. At least he had enough sense not to post it online, like we've seen in Crime Land a lot. He didn't post it online, but he did save it to his external hard drive. So he noticed, or Lauren noticed, that somebody had been in her apartment, but nothing was missing, so she didn't report it. But she had told her boyfriend, her long distance boyfriend, and also some of her law school friends, like her actual friends. Stephen thought he was Lauren's friend, but she was just a very nice, bubbly person, and she reminds me of me. I'm not going to be mean to somebody, even though I don't really want to be friends with them. I'm still going to be nice. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be rude. So she was kind of like that. She would say hi to him if they were passing on the stairs outside the apartment, or, in a class together or something like that. More of an acquaintance situation where he felt more into her than she did into him. Although I think maybe she felt bad for him because she invited him to a party sometime while they were at law school. She invited him to a party, and her friends, after the fact, after they're interviewing all the friends, said that, yeah, she brought him to a party and he kind of just sat by himself in the corner the whole time, which I totally get. If you don't know this about me, I'm kind of an introvert, and I would rather sit by myself in a corner when there's actual people around. But so I think she was just trying to be nice to him, kind of felt bad. He didn't have a lot of friends, that sort of thing. So Lauren noticed there's something weird about her apartment. She's like, I really thought I left my laptop on the desk and now it's on the bed, or like something has been moved where she knew she left it somewhere and then it's like over a few feet, stuff like that. So she's like, somebody has been in here. She's not sure if it's the landlord. She doesn't know what's going on. But because of this, she did tell her friends and her boyfriend that she thought somebody was in her apartment several times. It wasn't just once, it was several times that she got this feeling. And she bought something called a door jammer, which is this thing where it like props up in the door. I bet that I did not do something that I need to do in order for the sound to work. And I figured it out before we got too far into it. It's getting better, guys.
Prevents unwelcomed entry through hinged and sliding doors, increasing your peace of mind against intrusion. When used on hinged doors, a pivoting ball joint and padded foot assure full contact with the floor without scratching. On sliding doors, a removable pin releases the yoke end to allow firm seating between the door and the jamb. The door.
All right, so you get the idea. Please let me know if you did not hear any volume on that, because when we get to the really good videos that I have queued up, it'll be more important than the Master Lock door jammer commercial that I just played. Much more important. Okay, so I kind of want to get some of these. They look pretty good. Not gonna lie. Like, especially, like, I wish I had known about this when Mr. Zed was overseas, because I totally, anytime I hear any noise when I'm home alone, it freaks me out. And I know I have a pit bull over here. I guess she's on this side for you guys. I have a pit bull over here, but she's not going to do anything. Like, we had a German Shepherd that totally would have protected me. Xena, not going to do anything. She's going to take a nap. Okay. So that night, he is okay, June 26th. Actually, this would be June 25th. June 25th, between 10 p.m. and you kind of get the idea of the relationship that these two had, Lauren and Stephen. The day before she gets murdered, she gets murdered on the 26th at 4:30 a.m. Another thing that reminded me of the Idaho thing, because those college kids, and it was like 4 a.m. over there too. The day before, so at night, it was the same night, but the previous day, he is Googling her. He tapes a camera to a stick and is looking in her apartment. Let's go back to the apartment. So obviously there's a window here that he'll be able to see in, but on the side over here, you know what? Let me just, on the side, I noticed here they have pictures of the place. So this is her apartment. There's other windows over here on the side. So he takes a stick, duct tapes a camera to it, and is looking in her apartment. And they found this on the hard drive that he tried to erase. So he a lot of the stuff that I said they found at his house, like on his computer or whatever, he tried to erase that stuff. But the forensic technology people, whatever they're called, were able to find these videos. So creepy. And you can see right here That's the door jammer. So I have a feeling he was trying to get in and couldn't figure out why he couldn't get in. And so then he did the little tape with the thing and is spying and sees this door jammer thing. And that's her living room. Even though there's a bed in there, there was a fold-out sofa that was in there. So creepy. So creepy. So that's what he's doing. Yeah. Could you imagine finding out somebody had video inside your house through the blinds like that? Like, even if you weren't even a victim of a crime, I guess that kind of is a crime. I don't know if it is or not, but I I think it should be, right? I know if it's not a crime if he was on public, like if he was out on the sidewalk and you can see through the window, that's not a crime. But I'm wondering if it's a crime to like do the stick with the tape and all that. It seems like it should be. Just saying. So that's the day before. He sees the door jammer. Then he goes home. He does creepy internet searches, attaches he's searching for her. Then he takes these videos. He's like Googling her like he does all the time. Takes these videos, then goes home and Googles how to defeat the door jammer device, which apparently he found the answer to because he was able to get in. 4:30 a.m. Stephen uses a key to enter Lauren's apartment. He not only had a master key for the whole complex, like the whole place, he's got a key to every single door in here. He also had a separate key specifically for her apartment. So I don't know which key he used, but either one of them would have opened her apartment. He stands over her, watches her sleep for a few minutes. She wakes up. He like creaked the floor or something. She wakes up and then he like pounces on her and is like struggling with her. She takes off his mask. That's another thing that reminded me. He was wearing a black mask and black gloves, just like the Idaho guy. She ends up getting his mask off of him and sees that it's him. And it is like, Stephen, what are you doing? Get out of here. Please stop. Just leave. Just leave. Get out of here, Stephen. Says his name over and over again. Once she says his name, he decides he needs to kill her. I think he was just going to like go and like look at her. I'm not sure what he was planning, but he ends up strangling her. And he says, spoiler alert, he ends up pleading guilty to this. And he has to do an allocation statement where he says exactly what happened. So he says for between 10 and 15 minutes, he just choked her for 10 to 15 minutes. After he does this, she's unfortunately passes away. I think it was kind of overkill. 10 to 15 minutes seems like a long time to strangle somebody. I'm not sure. I've never strangled anybody. Maybe I'll ask my guest next week. Anyway, he drags her body from the bedroom into the bathroom. And this Google Maps has picture inside. I don't know if this is exactly her apartment, but you can get an idea of what the bathroom looks like. So he drags the body into the bathroom. What I find interesting is this is apartment number 4. This is his apartment that they're showing on this website trying to rent it out. I wonder if they've ever been able to rent it out again. But you can kind of see. Hold on, there's another picture that I was looking for. Here. This is the front door, and the bedroom is here, and the bathroom is over here. So you can kind of see the path that would have been taken, dragging her from one to the other. Next. He goes back to his apartment, locks up like nothing happened, leaves her in the bathroom, and then just goes about his normal day, goes to his class, his bar prep class. He goes to that. He just does the normal things. And then after it gets dark that same day, he goes back with a hacksaw and cuts her body up into many pieces. Her fingers that he cuts off, he flushes those down the toilet. He severed both legs, both arms, and her head. So those pieces he wrapped up in garbage bags and tape. He taped them shut. So they, I guess, wouldn't leak. And then the arms, legs, and head he disposed of across the street at the law school in whatever dumpsters they have over here at the law school. So he put those in the dumpsters. Apparently the torso was too big or too much to be lugging across the street. So he put that in the trash cans that we pointed out that are right here at the street. They're right in this area here. So the only thing was the torso that was left on the property. Everything else went across the street to the law school. Her fingers went down the toilet. So, and they're just like regular trash cans here. It's not like a big dumpster or anything like that. Now, 4 days go by. Nobody notices she's missing because just before he killed her, she told all of her friends and family, look, if you don't hear from me, it's because I'm studying for the bar exam. But, just leave a message. I'll call you back, whatever. But I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm not going to be answering calls, while I'm studying. So when people would text her or call her and she didn't respond right away, they're like, she's studying for the bar. I get it. Like, she's not going to call me back. June 30th, Lauren's family realizes we haven't heard from her in a while. It had been 5 days, at least 4 days, because we know on June 26th that she was killed. But they're like, well, she usually would at least text back and say, yeah, I'm good. And even if it wasn't right away, eventually she would text back. Like, they were asking, her sister was texting her, asking her a question. And it wasn't like she was trying to hang out. Her family was in Maryland. So they were just checking up on her. Lauren's her sister talks to her other sister, and the one sister, actually both sisters, just thought, well, even though I haven't talked to her, I'm sure she's talked to somebody. Well, they compare notes and realize that nobody's talked to her. And they end up calling her friends that are in Macon and say, hey, Macon friends, can you go over and just check her apartment for us? Because like I said, they're in Maryland. They want to, have somebody go over there, and they know where there's a key hidden. There's a candle jar on a table out on her balcony that Lauren hid a key, which may have been where Stephen copied it from. I don't know that for sure. But if you're going to hide a key, you got to maybe do it get one of those magnetic lock boxes or something other than just putting it in the candle. That's the first place somebody would look. Not a how to get away with crime channel, but how to protect yourself from burglars. Don't hide a key in an obvious spot, people. Her friends go over there. There's a group of them, I think 3 or 4 of them, and they're going into the apartment, and Stephen McDaniel hears them out because his apartment is right over here. And they're coming up the stairs and going into her apartment. He decides to join them in the search, which is genius, because now if his DNA is found in that apartment, well, of course it is, because he was her friend and was helping look for her. So there's that. They searched the whole apartment complex. They searched the law school. Her purse, her keys, her ID, they were all found in her apartment. Her 2004 Mitsubishi was in the parking lot. Nothing, there was no breaking and entering. Like, it looked like nothing was amiss, except she was not there and nobody had heard from her. After they get done looking for Lauren, Lauren's friends report her missing. They call the police. Stephen goes back into his apartment and starts to erase stuff on his computer. He Googles, this guy in Googling stuff, how to delete your browsing history. This is in between the friends searching for him and the cops getting there. He also starts deleting his hard drives. At this time, they're looking for her. The cops have interviewed all of the neighbors, and they've already interviewed Stephen once. And he's just like completely normal. And you'll understand why I'm telling you that he is normal when you see his other interview where he is not normal. So he's just like a normal guy saying, yeah, I haven't seen her. I didn't see anything funny. Nothing suspicious happening. And they're just interviewing him because he's the next door neighbor, just seeing if he saw anything weird. He goes back to his apartment and then there's the news is there because there's a student missing. And he decides it's going to be a good idea to get on the news. 3 different interviews he does with the news, like the local like 5:00 news or whatever. I'm going to play these for you. And you'll kind of see what a weird troll guy he is.
And no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
No one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I've always seen noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and we were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
He's creepy, isn't he? Do you guys think he's creepy? I think he's very creepy.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
She's as nice as can be. Very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. The only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. The door was locked when everyone got here. We just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body.
All right, I think I'm back, guys. Our internet went out. That was fun. Mr. Zed fixed it for me. Hopefully, everything is working now. Everyone left. Yeah, there's nobody here anymore. That's great. I'm going to keep talking though, because this will go up. I'll piece it together. PJ will piece it together and we'll upload it separately. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Where was I? First of all, need to do that. Okay, so people are coming back. So just so you guys know, let people know in the chat when people get back in here, but my internet just went down for a few minutes, but it's back now. I don't know what happened. But I'm going to play. Okay, so this part of the interview, I'm going to rewind it a little because I don't know how much you guys saw, but he finds out live on air that they found the torso. Here's what happened. He went down to do that initial interview with the police because he's the neighbor. And when he was down at the police station doing that initial interview, they found her torso in that trash can that I was talking about at the beginning. The only reason they found the torso is because the friends called the police, and the police got there so quickly that the police cars were blocking the garbage cans when the truck came to pick up the trash. If it had been like an hour later, she would have been gone. There would have been no body. So I'm going to play this again. He finds out live on air that that a body's been discovered.
Was she? I mean, what did you see?
She's as nice as can be. Very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know anybody any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. Went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. The door was locked when everyone got here. We just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? We don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's why we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
So he finds out right there that they found the body. And if you didn't know already that he's the killer, we already know, like, hindsight, all that stuff. But you could just think, like, if I saw that, I'll play that little part again. But you could just think, like, well, this is her friend and just found out that she's no longer a missing person, that she's actually deceased. That could be the case. But now that you know that he's the guy that actually did it, look at his reaction to this. It's nuts.
Know who lived there?
All right. I think that's the spot.
Seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? We don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's why we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Just a concerned friend? Killer. Could go either way. All right, so then after he sits down for a while, he comes back and talks to the media again some.
You've been studying for the bar?
Yeah, no one had seen her since Saturday because there's not a whole lot of interaction unless we're doing classes.
Right.
And she was doing the online version of it.
You all studied together, though?
We were in, there's two different people, there's two companies that provide it. Kaplan provides it and Barbary provides it. I signed up with Barbary and I've been doing the lectures that they have in the mornings. She was doing the Kaplan online, so I hardly ever saw her. I would see her go out running, but
What time would she go out running?
I don't even know when.
At night or morning?
I saw her midday a couple weeks ago. That was the last time I saw her, was coming back from the bar prep on the main campus because we got...
Like, how much more frantic does he look now? Like, it's a total change, like, in affect. Like, it's a total different person now. I just want to say real quick hi to Arvold, and I saw somebody else new in here, Diggs BTW7. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Moved over there for a week or two.
But she normally would run. That was the routine that she had.
She ran all the time. She had a group that she would go running with. I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her. She was as nice a person as there is.
Was she moving soon? Did you know anything about her?
Yeah. She was going to be moving out today. She was supposed to move out today because someone else was going to be moving into her apartment, a new law student.
Do you know if she was planning? Where is she from? Is she from Maryland?
Yeah, she's from up in Maryland.
Put this on you so we can hear you. Is that all right?
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Here, and you can just hold on for that. Thank you.
So the media is like apologizing to him because
she was from up in Maryland. All her family was there, as far as I know.
They don't know that he's the killer yet. They think that they're talking to somebody who just found out that his friend is dead.
I mean,
What's going on in your mind right now? Like, what are you thinking?
Wouldn't we all like to know that question, lady?
Why would anyone do this?
Didn't hear anything?
No.
Didn't see anybody?
I just heard something. Maybe I could have helped.
Okay, don't worry. Do you want to sit down for a second? Get something to drink?
Too bad they filmed this on a potato, so we can't even see if he's actually crying or not.
Do you know if a bunch of her friends are getting together or anything?
I mean, that's how I found out that she was missing. A bunch of her friends came over yesterday night around midnight, and they hadn't seen her since Saturday, so they were trying to find out where she was.
So they were knocking on neighbors' doors and stuff?
No, they went in. They had a key to her apartment, and they checked around. Didn't see anything out of place. It was locked when everyone got there.
That was midnight?
Yeah, around midnight, and then we went over to law school to see if maybe she was over in the library studying or something. And we looked up in the study rooms on the 3rd floor, and there was no one there. And we came back, we looked around, and just trying to find anything to figure out where she was.
She doesn't have any family in Georgia?
I don't know. As far as I know, all of her family is from in Maryland.
Have you met her family before?
There was one time that I met them. They came down first year. She had a little dog, a little brown dog, that she would exercise out in front of the law school, and it got hit as she was coming across the road. I heard the car hit it and ran out, and she was there crying, and thankfully there was someone who came along who knew a vet or something, and they helped that, and her family came down.
I would not be surprised if he threw that dog in front of a car.
I think a couple weeks after that or something, I met them just briefly.
Right.
But
You have a boyfriend or
we've been trying to figure out. She has a boyfriend up in Atlanta, but someone called him, and he hadn't heard from her. No one could figure out where she was.
Who was the last person to be with her? You said that somebody had seen her on Saturday?
Yeah, she went over to a couple friends' house, Garen Mueller and Joe Cairns. They live over on Walnut, and
He totally just doxed those people. Didn't even catch that the first time I watched this.
They said that she was over there in the morning, and then that was the last time that anyone we've been able to find out from had seen her.
She hadn't mentioned what she was going to do that day or anything?
Joe, he got onto her computer last night to see if she had said anything. She'd sent an email out to some people that afternoon talking about going out to eat or something. And the last thing that there was an email that she sent out after 10 that night where she sent to, I think it was someone in Atlanta, a friend of hers in Atlanta, and she said that she was afraid in her apartment that she thought that someone had tried to break in on Thursday night, and she was afraid to stay in there.
You did. You tried to break in.
Where did you hear that from? From Joe?
He pulled it up, and we read it off the screen.
And she had said that to a friend in Atlanta?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but...
And you hadn't heard anything on Thursday night?
No.
She never came to you to tell you anything?
No, if she had, I could have done something. I could have lent her a handgun. I've got a little handgun that I have for defense. And
Or she could have slept over or something?
yeah, something. If she was afraid in her apartment, then get her out of there.
Is that tried to break in on Thursday?
That's what she said in the email. She thought that someone had tried to break into her apartment. She said, Macon hoodlums tried to break into my apartment on Thursday night.
Is that her car parked there? The Chevy?
No,
Small car?
no. I think that's the detective's car, Detective
her car's
Patterson.
not even there?
No, it was here earlier, and they towed it. I mean, it'd been there for days, and then they towed it to, I guess, look through, see if there was. Yeah.
How did you find out that something was wrong with the police here? Was it like when you walked up a little while ago, or?
No, the police were called last night, and they came and they looked around. They didn't see anything. I mean, they went in. We looked around the place. No sign of a struggle. No sign that anyone had broken in. Just nothing. Just she was gone. I mean, all of her stuff was there. Her ID was there. Her wallet was there. But she was just gone.
So I'm really realizing a lot of the stuff that he's saying here is stuff I have in my notes. So we'll just let Stephen tell you why, like, all of the things. It drives me nuts seeing this, knowing that he's the one that did it. And I'm so glad that the Macon Telegraph, I think it was, whatever the news station is down there in Macon, released the full footage. Usually they would do these interviews and then take like a little snippet of it to put on the 5 o'clock news, but they put the whole thing out there, all of the footage they have of him, which is amazing. And then we're going into the third time he talked to the media now, too.
Did you just come home and see the police here?
No, I was here this morning. I couldn't hardly sleep. I was up until early hours, and then I got home and I just collapsed. And then this morning they knocked on my door. They were looking around trying to find anything, and a few of the other friends, Burpee and Garen and Ashley, they were here. They were here last night, and they'd come back this morning.
Notice how he keeps making sure that he's saying, I was with this group of people looking for her. We went into her apartment. We saw this. Her ID was there. He's making sure it's known that he was in her apartment looking for her. So that way, if they find evidence of him being in that apartment, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for it.
Went out and talked with them, and then they moved us all over to the side, and they bussed us all down to the department and kept us there until I got back just a little while ago. And yeah, they took statements trying to find out if anyone had seen anything, if anyone had heard anything, when the last time anyone saw her was.
No, they haven't confirmed, at least not with us, that it was Lauren that they found. Are you holding out any hope right now?
Such a dumb question.
I hope, but if they found it on the property somewhere.
You know where they found it.
You hadn't heard anything about a body until you were talking to us earlier?
No. No, as far as any of us knew, they were still trying to just find her. I mean, we got an email this morning from some people that live on the other side of Kroger, on the other side of the river, that they had.
So the Kroger he's talking about, I used to manage that shopping center. To put that out there. So I didn't know this. I had heard of this case when it happened, and then I got the job where I was managing shopping centers, which I don't do anymore. I have a different job now. But the Kroger that he's talking about in this interview is the Kroger that I used to manage, which makes it extra super creepy.
Seen her in the past running in that area. We thought maybe someone had snatched her over there, or maybe she got hurt or something.
All right, that's the end. So he was saying how they went and looked for her the night before, and he didn't get any sleep because he was out looking for her. And what really does a good job for me when I don't get a lot of sleep is just having a lot of coffee the next day. So I drink coffee all day long. I don't know about you guys, but when I drink coffee, I always drink North Arrow coffee because it is the best coffee. And I'll tell you why. North Arrow coffee is roasted to order. So they don't start roasting your coffee till you hit that click that button saying this is the one you want. I've had the Honduras blend here, which is very delicious. I like the French roast as well. But the great thing, one of the great things, many great things about North Arrow coffee, obviously, Stephen McDaniel probably needed it after staying up all night, worried about Lauren. One of the great things about it is that 15% of everything that you order from them ends up going to pro-life charities, which I love. I love that about North Arrow. And if you want 10% off at northarrowcoffee.co, use discount code HAWKHOUND for 10% off. So it's all single source beans. Each bag is a single source. It's not a blend of different coffee beans, all single source. And it's roasted to order, which is the best part because it is so fresh when you get it. Their website is great. Check it out. northarrowcoffee.co. They have on their website what they're doing, how much money they've donated. So I think last week when I pulled this up, it was only $4,000 on here. So now it's $6,250 they have donated to pro-life charities since they started. Definitely check them out. They're a great company. I am very happy with their selection, and it's just good stuff. Definitely check it out. northarrowcoffee.co. Use discount code HAWKHOUND for 10% off. Back to the story. I'm going to find a good way to slide that in there every time. I need to work on my segues, but so after those interviews, they start searching people's apartments. And when they search Stephen McDaniel's apartment, let's do this. When they search Stephen McDaniel's apartment, they find what just happened. I'm having all sorts of luck today. Okay, so they find a master key to the apartment complex. They find a copy of Lauren's key. They find a pair of Lauren's underwear. They find a blog post that he had written describing violence against women. They find many swords and daggers. Yes, this man was a collector of swords and daggers. He had 3 firearms, which the cops get into a lot, and it really bothers me. Like, I don't want to take the killer's side, but during this interview, they do not know yet that he is guilty. And the way they question him about his firearms really rubs me the wrong way. And I'm going to play you some clips. This is a 2-hour interview, which obviously we're not going to go through the whole thing right now. I might do a separate live stream going through the whole thing. I'm not sure yet, but the way they question him about his guns really bothers me. They find a flash drive with hundreds of Lauren's personal photos on there. They find a hard drive that had been tried to be wiped, so they didn't know what was on it yet. The 4 months later, I believe it was, the forensics team ends up getting into the hard drive and seeing what was on that hard drive that they found. They find, this is the part I don't like to get into. They found violent rape porn, and they also found child pornography, at least 14 photos, and some condoms. So that's what they find in his apartment. So they bring him into the station to ask him some questions. I'm going to play you some clips of this police interview. I want you to notice, before I start playing this, he's sitting here, his hands down like this. He does not move his hands until the police say, why are you sitting like that? Relax, put your hands on the put your hands on the desk, relax. And he just moves very slowly like this and puts his hands on the desk and then does not move from this position, staring straight ahead. And then the cop says, why don't you look at me when I'm talking to you? And instead of like just being like a normal person, the way he turns his head and looks at this cop is just like, and just stares, hands on the desk, stares at the cop. Then his eyes only track the cops the whole time because he was told to look at the cops. For the most part, he only says yes, no, and I don't know through this whole interview. You would think being a law student, he would get a lawyer, but he doesn't. And I'm so glad he didn't, because this right here is one of my absolute favorite police interrogations to watch of all time. Like, it's better than the Chris Watts one. Not going to lie.
All right, brother. All right, brother. All right. I just got to ask you a few more questions.
Okay.
You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked.
Oh, I'm not
right?
showing you guys.
You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No.
That's just you are. What's wrong? You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
Oh, if this internet goes out again. Oh no. I must close things. It's a crazy day today. I don't know what is happening.
No. All right. I just got to
All right,
ask
we
you
got it
a
working.
few more questions.
Okay.
You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked, all right? You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No.
That's just you are. What's wrong? You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? Put your hands up here. You remember us talking
Yes.
earlier tonight,
Creepy.
right?
Yes.
You remember me earlier in the day
Yes.
when we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay. I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay?
Did you see
Was
that?
you friends with her?
How creepy
Yes.
was that?
Close friends?
We were good.
I mean,
friends.
y'all were friends, right? Both of
Yes.
y'all are law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law?
The thing that I noticed about this interview is usually the police lean in to make the guy uncomfortable. But in this moment, Stephen is winning. Stephen is making that detective very uncomfortable, and it gets worse throughout this police interview. We're going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to play 3 clips where they're asking him about his guns. This part drives me nuts. Let's see, 7.
How
That
many
poor
guns
chair.
did you have in your apartment?
3.
What are they? Do you know what they are?
A rifle.
What kind of rifle did you have?
An AK semi-automatic.
Where'd you buy it from?
Classic Arms.
Is that Atlanta or something?
Online.
Okay. What kind of pistols do you own?
EAA Witness. Full size and compact.
Okay. What is that? What about the one that was on the bed?
That's the full size.
That's the full size one. What was the other one?
The compact.
Where was that at?
On the table by the bed.
Yeah. Remember I was in there?
Mm-hmm.
And then you had that samurai sword.
Yes.
That was just that's not, is it an expensive sword or is it just a
No.
knockoff? It's just one of the knockoff swords.
Yes.
And what about the knife?
Which knife?
The one that was, remember you showed me it was dull?
Yes.
What kind of knife is that? Because I don't know.
All right, so that's just them getting an idea of what guns he has. And now the guns come up again, 19 minutes in.
You scared somebody's gonna hurt you?
No.
What do you need all these weapons for?
Because I can.
Why? There's a reason why. Were you molested as a child?
No.
Then why do you need all these weapons?
There's 2 cops that they switch back and forth, the 2 cops. The other cop's red shirt, he's not here yet. But these 2 cops bully this guy. Imagine if he was innocent. He's not. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to take his side, but this interview pisses me off so much. Why do you have weapons? It's none of your business, first of all, because the Constitution says I can. That should be it. End of discussion.
To
Why? Give me one good reason. Just give me one reason.
To have.
Why? Does it make you feel important?
No.
Are you a big guy because you got a weapon?
No.
What the heck is this? Why? Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
You even know how to use it?
Yes.
I need you to tell me what you want me to tell her mother. And then I...
All right. So then at 39:15, the guns come up again. And this is the other detective. There's Redshirt. This Redshirt guy's really, he bullies this guy. Like, if he was innocent, I would be so mad that they treated anybody like
this investigation, because we needed your help. We're asking you for help. Right? That's what we... Remember I told you that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Throughout this whole 2-hour interview, the cops are basically asking Stephen to do their job for them. Like, we need help. If you were us, what would you do? You're the cop. Figure it out. This is your job, buddy.
You told me you're going to help me.
Yes.
Right? You're going to help me find Lauren, right?
Yes.
And I asked for your opinion, your observation of what happened to her.
Yes.
Right? And what did you tell me?
Oh, I'm at the wrong timestamp. I was at the timestamp where he's asking for help, which makes sense because that's what was just being said. 25:15.
Remember what they asked you this afternoon?
No.
Huh? I just don't fucking believe that shit. Don't came back yet.
What's up, buddy? Did you talk to him about his guns?
Yeah.
When was the last time you shot those guns?
I haven't.
You've never shot a gun?
No.
Have you ever shot any gun in your whole life?
No.
Never.
No.
So you bought 3 guns that you've never shot?
Yes.
Why?
To have.
For what?
They're laughing at him.
For what? I'm asking for what? Why do you want to have them? What makes... Did they give you... I mean, tell me why it's important to you to have 3 guns. That's an easy question. Come on, talk to me, buddy. Me and you talked all day today. We ain't had a problem communicating. Why is it important for you to have 3 guns? Do you not know?
No.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. This is not going to go well. So this is over and over and over again throughout these interviews where they're asking about his guns.
You got a girlfriend?
All right. So that's the guns clip. Now I'm going to play where they're the part where they're talking about him getting on the local news. And it's just the way they're speaking to him just really rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. Tell me, like, when you listen to this, tell me in the chat if you guys think that this, like right now he's innocent until proven guilty. They don't have, they haven't gotten the evidence yet. They just suspect him because he's a weirdo at this point.
You got your ass on that fucking news and stood out there and gave a media report that her mother saw about her missing daughter. And you want me to sit there and tell them that you don't know? Is that what you want me to tell them? Because you're all over the news. You sure stood out there and ran your mouth to the news media. But now you're going to get out here and you don't.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Don't fucking know. You know. You're just a sorry piece of shit that don't give a fuck. Right?
No.
Well, why'd you tell the media everything? Do you need to see what you told the media today? It was on the 11 o'clock news. Well, I'm asking you. Tell me. I want to know.
I don't know where she is.
That ain't what you told the media. You didn't stand in front of that camera and say, I don't.
It's exactly what he told the media. He says, I don't know where she is. Maybe she got snatched when she was jogging. We looked for her. I don't know where she is. He said, I don't know where she is many times to the media. So I don't know what news report this guy saw.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right? You buy all these weapons. Was you ever in the military?
No.
Back with the guns.
What do you need all these weapons for? Are you scared somebody's gonna hurt you?
Bullying him.
No.
What do you need all these weapons for?
To have.
Why? There's a reason why. Were you molested as a child?
No.
Then why do you need all these weapons?
All right. Moving along. There's a little bit of misogyny, which I approve of. But this part just cracked me up because you could see this guy does not clean his apartment. And they're like, but it smells like cleaning stuff in your apartment, which, by the way, it does not. All of these things that they're coming up with during this interview, none of them are true. He did not clean in his apartment because he didn't have to, because he killed her next door and cleaned up over there. There's a point where they're saying like his hair is found in her apartment. Well, he went into her apartment to help look for her. So even if his hair is there, which his hair is not there, by the way, spoiler, it wouldn't matter.
What'd you do when you woke up?
I think I checked the news.
All right, you checked the news, okay? What'd you do after that?
I watched some videos online.
Did you clean up?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You smell like you've been cleaning up, like you've been using cleaner to clean up. I know what that smells like. My wife smells like that all the time when she cleans the house. You've been using some kind of cleaner to clean up your apartment, hadn't you?
No.
Stephen, you telling me you live it like a man? How does your apartment get cleaned?
I clean it.
Okay. When was the last time you cleaned it, Stephen?
I don't remember.
Was it this week?
No.
You mean you go a whole week without cleaning?
Yes.
Why? That's horrible, Stephen. Was it possibly over the weekend, last weekend?
No.
It wasn't? If you can't remember, then how is it that you can tell me that you didn't clean up your apartment last weekend? A minute ago you couldn't remember.
To be honest, I can't tell you the last time I cleaned my house either. I don't like, I basically just clean as I go. Like once a month it gets cleaned. Like, but I couldn't tell you what's the last day that it got cleaned top to bottom. No clue.
I don't remember cleaning last weekend.
So it isn't that you didn't, it's that you just don't remember. Right? Help me out, buddy. Right?
I don't understand.
You don't understand? I don't know how else to say it, Stephen. Let me tell you what I think. I think that she was a friend of yours. Look at her right here. I think that she was a friend of yours. And I think something happened, Stephen.
We're going to skip ahead a little bit because, like I said, it's 2 hours. I can't go through the whole thing. After this uploads, I'll put a link in the description, though, of this whole interview. It's very interesting. It's the reason it's so interesting is because his mannerisms and the way he speaks through this whole thing, you can see the police getting uncomfortable. And it's usually the other way around. He's using silence as a tool the same way police in police interviews use silence as a tool. They'll ask a question and they'll shut up and they'll have the person answer, and then there'll be a break in the conversation, which is uncomfortable for some people. So then they keep talking to fill up the dead air. Basically, they just keep talking. Stephen's doing this to them beautifully for 2 hours.
That's right. There's blood in your apartment.
There's not.
Stephen, this is hard, buddy. I know this is hard. And I can tell it's on you. You want to let it go. There's blood in your apartment, Stephen. You didn't get it all up. It didn't all come off. You scrubbed and you wiped. But we can tell that. Don't you wipe CSI? Yeah, we know it. Stephen, why is there blood in your bathroom?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know. Why, Stephen?
I don't know.
Has anybody else been in your bathroom?
The police were in there.
Other than the police? Who else has been in there?
No one that I know.
No one. And you recently cleaned your bathroom, didn't you?
No.
How long ago?
I don't remember.
A couple days ago?
No.
Over the weekend?
No.
No, you don't know.
I don't remember cleaning it.
Do you use drugs?
No.
You ever use acid?
No.
Are you on medication?
No.
You're lying, Stephen.
This cop does not know what to do with himself. This next clip that I have time-stamped is my favorite part of the whole thing. It's the hair is there. The hair is there. I can't do it justice. You're gonna have to see it. The hair is there.
Because you know, like I go like that. Look at my hair. That's how easy it falls out. Look at all that on your head. You don't think nothing fell out? It did. It did, Stephen. We just want to give you an opportunity to tell it.
Spoiler alert, the hair is not there.
So you didn't look like a monster at the end. Because you know what? I don't believe that you're a monster, Stephen. I believe that you're a good guy. You've been picked on. Girls didn't show you the respect that you deserved. You did something stupid. And I believe you feel bad about it. And that's why you're all freaked out right now. But I'm giving you the opportunity to get right. I'm giving you an opportunity to show everybody you're not a monster. That you feel bad about what happened. Your hair is there, man. Your hair is there. We got your hair with the body. How's that, Stephen?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know. Yes, you do know, Stephen. That's right, buddy. See that? Look at it. See how easy?
Yeah, the cop is freaking out.
It happens. And it happened to you. Why, Stephen?
Why, Stephen? Why?
Oh, you understand. You understand exactly what I'm saying. See this stuff right here, your hair? Yeah, it fell out of your head when you was moving the body, Stephen. That's right. Do you remember moving the body?
No.
Yes, you do, Stephen. Why, man? What happened? Why?
All right, next clip is just of them bullying him for some reason. 143. We're back to the guy whose arch nemesis is that chair.
He couldn't be involved because he was on the computer, or he was online on a porn site, or he was online doing college work, or anything that would exclude you as being involved altogether. I mean, did anybody see you this weekend at the house? Did you go out to get a newspaper? Did you wave to a neighbor, or you just locked yourself in all week?
Yes.
Nobody saw you?
No.
I mean, what do you just stay in the house all day?
Yes.
I mean, what do you do all day in the house?
Play video games.
By yourself?
Yes.
You never talk to anybody on the phone or anything?
If they call me.
Well, who calls you?
Parents.
I mean, you've always done that your whole life? You don't have no friends?
I have
How can you go your whole life without a friend?
I have friends.
Where they at? Where they at? You have any friends here in Macon?
Yes.
Name one, because everybody I talked to said they ain't your friend.
Ryan Granger. Cass Lawson. Ashley Morehouse. Carmen Love.
That's the same people I talked to today, and they're not your friend. Okay? They're not your friend. I mean, it's all over anyways. I just wanted to know what was going on tonight. The game's over. I mean, we know what you did to her, so we just want to know if you were going to tell us or not.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what you say. But we know different. So you're fucked either way. You're fucked. We already know. And everybody out there, all your friends know that you're down here because of what happened to Lauren.
All your friends know, even though you don't have any friends. One last clip. It's just right after this happens. This next thing happens, and then we're going to move on. But I highly suggest checking out this whole 2-hour interview.
So all those friends that you thought you had are not your friends anymore. Okay, there'll be no more video games. Alright. Oh. This is the end.
Do you all hear this detective's chair just groaning under the weight of him? Just groaning.
Is there anything you want to say?
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what you say. That's what you say. Stick to your story. Because it's over. We're tired of talking to you.
The chair does not break,
Okay.
but it's close.
We know you killed her. We know you put her body in the trash can. Simple as that. The news media knows it. Glenda knows it, your mother. Your sister knows it. Your sister's husband knows it. The one that used to beat your sister, he knows it. You know what he said? He said he's a crazy motherfucker, is what he said when I called him. That's your own family calling you crazy. Your own family said you're crazy. Nobody wants to see you.
This part.
Nobody's coming to visit you. So you can sit there with that dumb look on your face. But it's over. You enjoyed yourself and it's all over now. Okay? Anything you want to say? I don't know.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what you say. But I'm telling you, you did. Okay? Simple as that. You're
They
not in
didn't prove
charge
that
right now.
until 4 months later. All right. So this right here I found very interesting. This is the whole 2 hours of police interrogation that we just went through some clips of, time-lapsed into a minute. Please just watch Stephen's motions here. Like, just watch how little he moves the entire time. It is, I mean, it's endurance, I think, is the only way to put it. It's endurance. The only thing that moves is his head, and not until the officer says, "Look at me when I'm talking to you." He looks down a couple times when they show him photos or something like that. That's it. The only time he moves from this position is when they ask him to get his wallet out, and they wanted to look through his wallet. I don't think I could sit like that for 2 hours. I know I couldn't sit like that for 2 hours. There's no way. So there he just took his wallet out. That's the only time he moved. Like, and he put his hands back in his lap instead of on the table. Insane. Zena's moved more than that since I've been streaming, which hasn't been 2 hours yet. All right. What happened? So 4 months later, they figure out, they get into the hard drive and they find the CP, like all the stuff that I said was on his hard drive. The photos of Lauren coming and going from her apartment, the CP, the violent rape porn, all of that stuff is on the hard drive that he deleted, and they were able to extract it out of there. And he pleads guilty.
Just a little more than 2 hours ago, Stephen McDaniel, the man accused of murdering Mercer Law grad Lauren Giddings, pled guilty inside a Bibb County courtroom. And 41 NBC's Skylar Henry was there, and he's joining us live right now with the latest. Skylar.
When I saw Skylar the first time, he did not look like what I thought he was going to look like. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Amanda, if you could describe the scene with one word this morning, it was emotional. Stephen McDaniel did plead guilty in front of Judge Howard Sims for the murder of Lauren Giddings. Now, we're going to roll some video that we've shot in the past about this case. McDaniel was accused of killing Mercer Law grad Lauren Giddings back in the summer of 2011. He accepted the plea deal this morning. Well, he'll serve life in prison with the opportunity for parole again in 2041. Now, also a part of this plea deal is he'll have to provide an allocution. Now, if you don't know what that means, is an allocution, it will be a written statement talking about all of the events that happened on the night that Giddings was murdered. Now, the defense came to Macon Judicial Circuit District Attorney David Cook about this plea deal a couple of weeks ago. Cook told me in a news conference that he believes McDaniel will spend the rest of his life behind bars, even though he has the opportunity for parole again in 2041. He also said that his goal from the very beginning was that he wanted to just give justice to Giddings' family. He knows that they've been through so much over the last 3 years, and today they finally had the opportunity to get some sort of justice. Again, this trial was supposed to begin next week. Well, jury selection was supposed to begin next week on Monday, but the defense thought that he wouldn't get a fair trial in Bibb County, so they moved it to Henry County. But again, McDaniel did plead guilty this morning in the murder of Lauren Giddings. Now, back out live here, I'm going to try to get copy of that allocution to see, what Giddings said, or excuse me, what McDaniel said, and just talk about everything that happened on the news tonight at 6. I'll have that for you, and I'll also have all of the reactions, all of the emotional reactions from Lauren Giddings' family tonight as well. So make sure you want to tune in for that, and we'll also keep updating things on our website, 41nbc.com. For now, reporting live in Macon, Skylar Henry, 41 NBC News.
Thanks, Skylar. I appreciate that report. So the allocution is basically the story that I told you when we first started streaming, probably in a separate stream because my internet went out. But that's how we know he stood over her, was just watching her sleep. He didn't jump on her until she woke up. We know that she removed his mask and said, "Why are you doing this, Stephen? Get out of here, Stephen." We know that he moved her body into the bathroom and then left for several hours until it got dark again. Because remember, this is 4 a.m. So I assume once that happened, the sun was starting to come up. And so he went back to his apartment, waited for it to get dark again. We know which dumpsters he put her body parts in. That's all from the allocution.
Stephen McDaniel is a psychopath who cowardly allowed darkness and evil to consume him. He should never be permitted to prowl the streets of this world again.
That is the voice of Karen Giddings, the mother of Lauren Giddings, the Mercer Law grad who was killed almost 3 years ago. And just a week before jury selection was expected to start, Stephen McDaniel pleaded guilty to malice murder this morning.
As part of his plea deal, McDaniel will serve life in prison, and he had to write out exactly how he killed Giddings. Here's part of that confession. It was 4:30 a.m. on Sunday, June 26th. Stephen McDaniel says he entered Lauren Giddings' Barrister's Hall apartment with a master key from the complex, wearing gloves and a mask. She woke up, told him to get out, and that's when he says he leapt on the bed, grabbed her throat, and began choking her. Some of her last known words, according to McDaniel: "Stephen, please stop." McDaniel strangled her to death and dragged her lifeless body into the bathtub. I returned to Lauren's apartment around midnight Sunday to begin to dismember her with the hacksaw that was later recovered from the laundry room maintenance closet. I removed her limbs and head, wrapped them in several black trash bags separately, and discarded them in the Mercer Law School dumpster across the street from Barrister's Hall Apartments. He writes he put her wrapped up torso in the garbage can at the apartment complex early in the morning on June 28th. McDaniel said he never sexually accosted Giddings before or after he killed her. In fact, from his statement, his motive is still unclear. McDaniel wrote he joined the search party late Wednesday night, still in a dreamlike, delusional state in which I believed at the time, while taking part in the search, that Lauren was still alive and that I had not done what I had done, even searching the empty law school in a delusional hope of finding Lauren alive and well, as if I had not really killed her. To this day, McDaniel says, I am not delusional or without morals or decency, but says something in his makeup must explain what he did. McDaniel also wrote he does not expect forgiveness from Giddings' family or friends, but he is sorry. To read his full statement, head to 41nbc.com.
I don't know why she just said sorry like she's Canadian. Very weird. So, after he pled guilty, part of the plea deal was that the things that they found on his computer, the specifically the child porn, they would not prosecute him for that. So he would be in prison for murder, not for child pornography. So that case got thrown out. And he says, this is, I believe, 2017. Yeah, something like that. Many years later, he said, look, I really didn't kill her. I just didn't want to go to jail for the CP. So I just said what they wanted me to say. So he goes back to court to ask for a new trial, or a trial, because he didn't have a trial the first time. He just pled guilty.
Today, convicted killer Stephen McDaniel questioned his former attorney and others as he tried to convince a Richmond County judge to grant him a new trial. McDaniel admitted 4 years ago to killing and dismembering his Mercer Law School classmate and neighbor, Lauren Giddings. Caitlin Heck breaks down what happened in the courtroom today.
Stephen McDaniel walked into the courtroom today with an entire cart full of documents. Now, the morning got off to a bit of a slow start. He began by questioning Nancy Scott Malcor, who works with the district attorney's office. He asked very specific questions regarding court documents and transcripts of pretrial hearings. Now, this is the first time we've really heard Stephen McDaniel speak. In all of his pretrial hearings, it was mainly his attorneys who spoke for him.
How would you describe my demeanor at that meeting?
Now, things really didn't pick up until later in the afternoon as McDaniel began questioning his former attorney, Floyd Buford. And McDaniel decided to waive his attorney-client privilege, meaning that Buford had the ability to speak freely regarding his discussions with Stephen McDaniel. Buford described McDaniel today as,
I will say it's nice to see that he finally got a haircut. Doesn't have the troll hair anymore.
weird and a bit odd, but he did say that throughout the entire process, he believed that McDaniel was innocent.
That up until the last couple of weeks of your case, I was strongly in your corner, believing you were innocent. But this computer evidence that came in from the GBI, the fact that you peeping in this Giddings apartment.
We also got a very detailed look today at discussions between McDaniel and his legal team in the days leading up to his guilty plea.
The graphic, specific, detailed confession that you made to Frank Hogan and I, which we were shocked about in the jail, and which you went into terrific detail about how you killed Lauren Giddings.
Now, in McDaniel's habeas, he claims that Floyd Buford, Frank Hogan, and the rest of his defense team failed to represent him effectively. Here's what Buford had to say today about that.
Started off facing a death penalty and ended up with life with possibility of parole. You could get out one day, Stephen, and viciously murder a woman and dismember her, and you still could be paroled. So I don't see how that's ineffective assistance.
Now, throughout the entire day, McDaniel remained very stoic, much like his parents who were sitting in the front row. They showed very little emotion, except for the very end of the day. His mother waited around as McDaniel was getting ready to leave the courtroom and waited to blow him a kiss. And McDaniel was not able to call on one of his last witnesses, his other defense attorney, Frank Hoke. He also intends to question Nancy Scott Malcor again regarding documents he had requested from the DA's office. The judge decided to call for a recess and said that the hearing would have to continue at a later date. In Richmond County, I'm Caitlin Heck, 13 WMAZ News.
So the outcome of that, those hearings was the judge says, no, you don't get another trial. You pled guilty. You got your sentence, which was 20 to life, possibility for parole in 2041. And those other charges were thrown out. One last thing I want to play you is that lawyer that was talking. I have some testimony of his that from that trial that we were hearing that we were just talking about. And I just want to play this for you. The audio on it is not great, but I think it's important to hear. It's 1:45, and then we'll be done.
That up until the last couple of weeks of your case.
I'm leaving the subtitles up there because it is difficult to hear. Like whoever pulled this, it was very difficult to hear.
I was strongly in your corner, but
it doesn't like to do
this
that.
Computer evidence that came in from the GBI, the fact that you peeping in this Giddings apartment.
Maybe we won't hear it.
That was very important. But the basis of plea was that kind of evidence that came in, plus the graphic, specific, detailed confession that you made to Frank Hogan and I, which we were shocked about in the jail, and which you went into terrific detail about how you killed Lauren Giddings, how you went about decapitating her, carving up her body, how you even sat down and cut off every finger and thumb and appendage on her hands and threw them all in the toilet and flushed it at one time. And then combine that with the searches on the internet, the fact that you had done searches about having sex with dead people, things of that nature. All of that combined to a heavy, heavy evidentiary problem in your case. On top of that, you possess the most horrific child pornographic photos I've ever seen, and I've been practicing law for 33 years.
So I think it's important to know what a bad dude Stephen McDaniel is. Because I'm not sure. After all of that, I don't know if he actually killed her. There's a lot of evidence that he did. Don't get me wrong. There's an awful lot of evidence that he did. Let's move Xena over to this side. But the only the fact that here's what gets me. They did a search of his place, and that's the packaging for the hacksaw they did not find until months later. How on earth did they not find that in his apartment until months later? It had to have been there the whole time, right? It didn't just appear there. They knew they had found the hacksaw. The hacksaw had her blood on it. The hacksaw was in the like the sprinkler room or whatever for the apartment complex or the utility room, and it had her blood on it. And there was male DNA on the hacksaw. However, it was not enough DNA to test to see whose it was. And then 4 months later, they found in his apartment the hacksaw packaging. That's the one thing that ties him to the actual murder. I'm not saying he didn't stalk her and spy on her and look in her windows and all of those things that we know he did. I'm not saying he's not a bad dude, but the only thing that ties him to the actual murder is that hacksaw packaging that they found in his apartment. It's an interesting case, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. I'm not taking calls today because this has gone almost 2 hours, but I want you to, once this uploads, I want you to leave comments down below. I respond to almost every comment. If you ask me a question, I definitely respond to it, and I will answer your questions. I hope all of you have such a great night, a great Sunday. I hope some of you might be off work tomorrow, which would be great. I actually am working tomorrow, luckily from home, but still have to work tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the long weekend if it is indeed a long weekend. And I may jump on here and just live react to the whole 2 hours of that interview. I know a portion of this stream right now was of that interview, a large portion of it probably. But it is 2 hours long. And I'd love to react to the whole thing. So if I do, it'll be tomorrow. If I don't, then it won't be ever. Have a great night, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.
First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man, Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Won't you so loco? Show off your photos, throw out your Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies. Them shits a no-no. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8th subscriber, I'm a fat go-so. Jump in them Sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto.
Looking for new thrills, needed a new track of land. I used to dig The Simpsons, man, bumping Biggie, Pac, Smash Mouth, and Simple Plan. No scrubs for the crease in my pimples, damn. From the south streets of southeast Michigan, hitting shuffle till I settled on a different jam. And when a dime won't do, a better nickel can. And let me tell you, when I used to dig them Simpsons, man. A funny thing about time, you can't get it back. A tight grip, but it rips the jacket. Slight lisp with a mix of traffic. You see about me, like Mr. Glass, always wished I was a whiz at graphics. Take me back to the past where the hits were massive. You could hear Gladys Knight and the Pips on plastic, misfit molasses. Delete my contacts just so I can stick to glasses. Feel that skipped out, so I miss the classics. Aristotle of the bottle, Seneca of the sinful action, senator of the simple maxim. I swear for a skillful Saxon, I'm still relaxing. Who wanna take a dip in the mind sauce, making up for the time lost, forgetting all my past was when I sign off. Prime bribe, prime rib, Agent Smith, crime boss, popping red pills till my mind's off, mind's off.
First Florida man. First Florida man. Endo de Soto. First Florida man. First Florida man was hurting Endo de Soto. Won't you so loco? Show off your photos, throw out your Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies. Them shits a no-no. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8 subscriber, Iyama Fagoso. Jump in them Sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto.
Threw up that blue pill, moved to a new track. I slew the foothills of that voodoo sap. Microfiche tape decks, I'll sift through that, cause I'll do anything to get the old Simpsons back. Give me the news that make my mood react. I'll swim through the sewer just to make it to the truth intact. And you can shine up that voodoo with new shellac. I'll still do anything to get the old Simpsons back. Imagine thinking Karl Marx is new school Klingon like Huzu. They welcome the ways they can bring on the boots, dude. Declare a major, they get paid to pollute you. Self-ashamed neighbors never gaze when they scoop you. I wonder how we fight it. The 6th step is never enter in my tent uninvited. The 5th step is produce, no skills is no use. 4th step community preference is unity. 3rd step is nation, it's somewhat location, mostly relations, that's the situation. Next step, family, patriarchal sanity. Safe under the canopy, ain't a place for anarchy. 1st step, I just got to say it, no showboat. Step back and soak up the logos.
First Florida man. Endo de Soto. First Florida man. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Won't you so loco? Show off your photos, throw out them Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies. Them shits a no-no. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8 subscriber, Iyama Fagoso. Jump in them Sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Hernando de Soto. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8 subscriber, Iyama Fagoso. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man.